Hello students, welcome to another new lecture. The topic for the day is substance writing. It is a part of the syllabus of the non-CBCS third year students of Vidyasagar University. First, let us discuss what is substance writing. Substance writing is very different from paraphrase writing or from synopsis writing for that matter. In substance writing, what we essentially try to do is we try to bring out the main idea or the meaning of the passage that has been given to us. The salient points of the passage are taken and they are written down in one's own word as clearly as possible. The substance that is written must be clear enough so that the reader can understand it and also appreciate what is being written. Students, remember one very important point, that when we are writing a substance of a poem or a prose passage, we only need to express the main idea or the message behind the poem or the prose passage. Let us now look at certain rules for substance writing. They are fairly self-explanatory as given in the slide before you. You have to first read the passage carefully several times. Try to understand the main idea in the passage. If sentences are complicated, then don't use them. Rather, use simplified versions of those sentences in your substance passage. One important thing when you're writing your substance is to be coherent. That is, maintain the logic of your writing the points of the idea one after the other. Do not jump or skip. And your substance fairly should be around 1/3 of the original text. And to score high marks, students, please remember to write in your own words as far as possible. There are certain tips given in the slide before you all. Please have a look. Now we will move on to the rules for critical appreciation. In most examinations, including the examination under Vidyasagar University, after writing a substance, students are asked to write a critical note. This critical note fairly can be of 1 page length or even shorter. When you are writing critical appreciation, remember that it is very important to point out certain features of the work. For example, if it is a poem, the rhyme scheme, the figures of speech. If it is a prose passage, the kind of prose passage, the style of the writer, the language of the passage, all of these are certain important points that you need to point out when you are writing a critical appreciation. Don't forget to add very briefly the central theme or idea of the work as well. Students, what you can do is also add the background of the work if you can guess it. If you read a certain passage and you are fairly confident that the work belongs to, say, for example, the Romantic era, do mention it. Or say for certain you are that it is taken from the Victorian era, you may also mention it and add certain features of the age. This just makes your writing more critical. This is Sonnet 72, taken from Amorati by Edmund Spenser. Please pause and give this poem a good reading. The next slide shows a sample of the substance of the poem. In this particular poem, Spenser clearly is telling us that though he wants to fly up to the heavens, his mind becomes encumbered by the thought of human mortality. He wants to search for happiness in heaven, but finally he comes to the conclusion that earthly happiness is more dear to him. This is the central idea of the sonnet, and this is all that you have to write when you're writing the substance of the poem. Coming to the critical appreciation of the poem, the critical appreciation clearly states the idea of mortality, the Neoplatonic idea, the rhyme scheme, the language used in the poem, and also what kind of sentiments the poem evokes in the readers. All these points are to be brought out in the critical appreciation, and the sample critical appreciation before you does the same. Please give it a reading. Pause the slide